This is the Soundscape Breakdown. I was responsible for the soundscape. I collected the sounds first, then arranged them in GarageBand and mixed them. I collected a lot of the ambient samples from freesound.org. So this was like animal sounds, the rain sample was found on freesound.org, and I used these samples to kind of create the environmental context of the piece, which was like a kind of whimsical, otherworldly forest. And Monse recommended that we use the work of Vicente Fernandez, just to kind of add more cultural context to the soundscape. I chose the song Por tu maldito amor, mainly because just like the sense of nostalgia. It's also a very popular song, and it seemed to go over really well. There's a really good reception from our guests using the song. It seemed to move a lot of people. Everything was arranged in GarageBand. So the Alebrije sample is me, Karina, and Monse, and it's just processed with a little bit of reverb and delay to try and create more space. We are kind of repeating the word Alebrije, because that's what Pedro Linares heard in his dream and ended up naming the chimera-like creatures. That's the rain sample that I use. I processed it with a little bit of reverb and delay. I also increased the volume on it as I wanted it to stand out in the mix. This is a frog sample that I found. There's also some birds in the background. It's a sample of hissing sounds. It's like a growling sound. That sound was, I found it on Freesound, but it is a processed kind of growl. I really liked it because it just kind of sounded foreign and like alien, and I really wanted to push home that this isn't just a normal forest. This is kind of like a whimsical, otherworldly place. So I wanted a lot of this animal sounds to be recognizable, but sound kind of distinctly different and otherworldly. So the ambient, like, kind of bells in the background, is just something that I kind of came up with while in GarageBand. Yeah. It's processed with a little bit of reverb and delay, and for this particular sound I just used a preset from GarageBand, and I played with a bit of the settings on it. So that is Por tu maldito amor, the instrumental. I cut out, well, I trimmed down the sample just so that it would loop a little bit more seamlessly. And then I used some of the settings in the vocal settings in GarageBand to mess around with the pitch and just kind of distort it. I wanted it to kind of feel unsettling and unbalanced. And I believe this is the full soundscape. So for mixing, we connected my iPad to the JLB Eon speakers via Bluetooth. The speakers were placed off to the left side of the installation. While still in GarageBand, I adjusted the mix to make the song loop and animal noises stand out more. Because compared to the iPad speakers, the JLB Eon speakers had more bass, so anything with a lower pitch seemed to take up more room in the mix. So, like the rain sounds in particular seem to just take up more room than I wanted to in the mix. So I made sure that those were a little bit quieter, and I boosted the alebrije whispering, and then any other animal sounds that I would help cut through the mix too. I kind of made those a little bit louder. And yeah.